What up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Corner Podcast. It's time we're rocking on Patreon. Kel Dansby here. Oh man, Andreas and Kel. If you guys subscribe, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for spreading the message, getting new subscribers every single week, letting people know this is the place to be. Shout out to everyone who posted on Twitter and everything, shouting out these Patreon shows. It is really, really dope to do this. Dre, people have been in the comment section. They've been wanting to know what more so you than me, but I don't care. I'm giving my 2 cents anyway. Hip hop is feeling like it's back again. It's feeling hip hoppy, coming down to what is and what could be, if it plays out correctly, the beef of this current generation, the battle of this current generation, one we've been waiting for somebody to have their Jay-Z versus Nas moment. And Kendrick was like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm bored. And Future was like, you know what? Allegedly, Drake took my girl, one of the many that I have, but I really, really am fond of this one. The hell with it, Drake. Metro, what you got? And Metro's like, I got this beat. You know who sound really good on this? Kendrick. See what he's doing. And they linked up and put out a diss track that Kendrick is your dude. I know this. You're a bigger fan of Drake than people know. You're not the biggest fan of J. Cole, but I am. This is, to me, as J. Cole said, the big three. Kendrick didn't agree with me. He took offense to this. So there's no big three. There's a big me. And Kendrick now seems like he's on clockwork. Every 7 or 8 years, he drops a verse as a feature that just shatters the earth, and he did it again.
He did. And it came out of nowhere. Like nobody was expecting this. Like this Future and Metro Boomin album dropped, and everybody was like, "All right, cool." The Future fans, yes, me, I don't care. Then all of a sudden, it was like Kendrick's on here, and then people lighting up my mentions. Did you hear it? What? I had to go. I don't even know what I was doing Friday night. I listened to it. I was like, oh, I know what's happening. I've been around this dude long enough. I know it. I don't want to say I know how he thinks, but you're right. He was bored. And he wasn't like just bored. See, some people said he was begging for attention, but that's not what Kendrick does. What Kendrick does is the game is boring right now. And very obviously to him, the annoyance of watching Drake and J. Cole give each other their flowers together on this tour was just too much for him. He was just like, what the fuck are you two guys doing? First person shooter with the big three. Kendrick's not even on the song. He's like, why are you still talking? Like, this, you guys, you're a tag team. I'm a solo act. Ain't no big three, it's just big me. But J. Cole was collateral damage on this song. He really was.
Yeah, like, Drake caught most of this, caught most of the smoke, but we know there was enough given to Cole where Cole's going to be like, come on.
And we have to see. So when I heard it, I was like, oh, this guy is, he like the E40 be legit reference, like the coffin talk, the goofies with a check, which is for all my dogs having a Nike deal. Like he was really, it's just the way Kendrick operates. The funny thing about this is, oh, Prince outlived Mike Jack. Because your man Drake's over here saying, I'm the new Mike Jack.
He said, I'm Mike Jack. He said, I'm one away from Mike Jack. Nigga, beat it. And that's how he ended the song. And then just to come back and be like, Prince outlived Mike Jack is one of the dopest bars. And people really weren't like pointing it out. That's the dopest bar in the song to me. Because it's like he is the Prince to that Mike Jackson character. He's like, yo, Prince outlived Mike Jack. Prince is better. Like Prince is my favorite. Like, oh my God. It was such a good comparison.
It is. And there was, I don't know if you remember when ESPN, what was the Bleacher Report, did that poll with all the like the draft picks about the big three and everybody kicked Kendrick out. Mm-hmm. And some people like Kendrick needed attention. Kendrick's not annoyed by that shit because Kendrick knows the only reason you guys are picking these two is because they're visible.
Yep.
I'm not. I drop an album and then I leave. Very similar to Prince. Prince would drop an album. He didn't care if it was made for pop sensibilities, mainstream appreciation. He made what he wanted to make, and he's like, I'm out.
Yep.
And Kendrick operates in the same exact fashion. He don't care what these kids think. He just knows when I want your attention, I'm gonna get it. And he got everybody's attention on this song, and it was bait. The thing was, like, some people were like, oh, it was a mid diss. It's bait, guys. This was not like the diss. This was, which one of you motherfuckers gonna take this shit? I dare you.
You know Cole is taking it.
I
Cole,
don't know if Cole's taking it.
where Cole is right now,
I hope he
Cole
does.
got something for him.
I
Like
think
those two going back and forth will be dynamic, but it's gonna make Drake look real shitty.
well, Drake's got to do. See, the thing about Drake is, yo, he was on Meek Mill's head. It's not like Drake is bad at this, right?
Yeah.
It's just, is he going to engage? Because it ain't Meek Mill.
No.
Like this is somebody that's, he ain't here to say you got a ghostwriter. He's just here to tear you apart as an artist. And for Drake, the best I saw, actually, my man Alvin pointed this out. He was like, Drake's probably in the booth, and I mean, J. Cole's in the booth. Drake is making an IG caption. That's how they respond, right?
Facts.
Cole hasn't really been in a battle. He hasn't. He's been rapping his face off for the last 2 years. Just, he pops on Gucci Man shit. He pops up on everybody's shit and is just a menace, right? That's what Cole does. But now he finds himself in a scenario with somebody who he was supposed to have an album with years ago. A lot of people forgot about that. Him and Kendrick had that Black Friday, those two joints they had back to back, rhyming on each other's beats. And there was rumors of them having an album. Now you don't. Because Kendrick is here for competition. Kendrick is more like Jordan in a sense. And what I mean is, he ain't leaving to join y'all. He's daring you to beat him. And he's looking at these two like LeBron. Like, oh, y'all just going to join forces to be the best?
Yeah.
Have the best or do all this best shit? That's just whack. I don't think there's any bad blood at all, right? Let me take that back. I don't think there's bad blood where people should be worried about dumb. I saw Stephen A. Smith talking about it. I was like, look, man, there's nothing physical is going to happen, or they're not going to go too far. This is not going to get really personal, like Pusha and Drake. It ain't going to be that. This is going to be just a beef. This is going to be just a rap battle. Like, who is the best? Hip hop has been built on competition forever, right? I think people forgot that. I think the thing that Kendrick wanted to do more than anything else is made sure it was about the music. Everybody beefing now is beefing on like social media, is beefing in interviews. They're not beefing, banging on wax. They ain't doing that shit. Kendrick's bringing it back to the true essence of a battle. I'm intrigued, man. I want to see what Cole does. Because Cole's the one guy who sits there and you'd be like, well, ain't nobody really came at Cole like this before. We ain't never seen nobody, like, he's just catching shrapnel. But he can't act like he didn't hear it because he was there. Like, first person shooter, I hope you have 3 switches. Like, he's coming for y'all as a group. You have to respond. Don't respond together. Whatever y'all do, please don't tag team on a record. Don't do that.
No. You gotta, this is 1v1. There's no, I mean,
I guess triple threat match.
Yeah. Like I've seen a tag team diss track, but it was like kind of like the Locks, like Jada and Styles P went and crushed. I think it was during the Beanie Siegel joint. It might have been during the 50 Cent like run, and the Locks like bodied them. But that was cool. They're a group. Like, you guys aren't a group. He called you guys out. One, if you guys have to crew up to squash him, you're gonna lose already. You lose the court of public opinion.
You look like an idiot.
Yeah. Like, what is Drake gonna do? Do a hook?
Right.
Or on a battle track?
You gonna sing a hook?
Yeah. Like, what's going on here? Even Future's verse was low key, like, at Drake. But at this point, it's just looking like, why is Drake such an easy target?
Oh, this is an easy answer. Because he's Drake. See, there's the difference between Drake and Michael Jackson. Like, I get the similarities because they're at the top of like everything. But Drake, you don't even feel like it. You know it. He's dumbing it down. He can rap. I've been saying that. He's had 3 mid albums in a row now. 3.
Yeah. Are we not counting the Scary Hours?
No, we're not. Your best album was a Light Pack. We're not counting that.
Okay.
We're not counting that.
Oh, Kendrick is...
He's a fucking nasty human being. Dude, When I was with him shooting that documentary, he was telling me about Control before it happened. There's an excerpt of this interview where he's like, I have to be number one and I have to tell everybody why. And then Control came out, and I remember calling him and I was like, what happened? He was like, you know, sometimes you just get an itch and you gotta scratch it. It just so happens to be has to be on somebody else's song. Poor Big Sean, he always gets overshadowed in this shit.
I guess he dropped some type of diss like last
Exactly.
week.
Well, he just dropped the
I
song, and it was
saw.
actually kind of dope, and then nobody cared
No,
because
he's gonna
this.
have a tiny desk. He better catch some wave. But Kendrick just continuously just shit on Big Sean.
He's just a menace. He's a menace. But the difference is that we know Drake can make better music. We know Drake can be a better rapper than he has on his last 3 albums. He has moments where he comes out and shows it, and he does the Scary Hours joint, and you go, that's the Drake that the hip hop heads want. And just like we said on this podcast a while ago when I pointed this out, I was like, once Drake gives you that full ass rap album, it's over. He's not doing anything else. He's been able to maintain this long because he knows how to hit that point where it's not too difficult, it's easy to digest, and everybody likes it. You don't want to make a Schoolboy Q album and scare the hoes. Drake is capable of that, but he ain't gonna do it. That's not his brand. He got to keep though. He can't scare
But
the
you
hoes.
just got to do it for one song. Like
Yeah.
you need to channel that inner, like, oh, Meek. Let me even Push.
Yes.
Like you can't like Push bodied you, like, but you did it. You can say kudos. You tried to rap, like you got in your bag. It's just I think at a point Drake knows there's levels to this, and J. Cole is more fitting of that Kendrick level.
It'll be interesting to see what they say about Kendrick. That's the challenge, right?
Mm.
The challenge is how do we diss a man who is not very visible in the public eye, who has arguably 4 classics under his belt, who has a fucking Pulitzer Prize and is coming for our neck? How do we diss this man? Drake, you can diss his personal life, right? You can diss the soft music. Cole, you could just diss him for teaming up with Drake,
Yeah.
right?
You
But
could just
how
say
do
you're
you,
not as good as me.
right? But it's real. Like, what do you say about Kendrick? I know Drake will be like, I kind of put you on. Like he could try to say that with Buried Alive on Thank Me Later. But I'm interested in what they use to diss Kendrick because they could find a way. Cole could definitely find a way.
Yeah.
I want to see what they do.
It reminds me of the Eminem response to Machine Gun Kelly. Like there's one line in there where in terms of like hip hop battles, that's low-key underrated for like a recent like back and forth because it showed how good Eminem still is, like if he wants to be. But the part where Eminem is like, is this a diss record or a love letter? It's one of those things where it's real because you kind of have to big him up to cut him down.
Yeah.
So like to diss Kendrick, you have to be like, you got 4 classics, but nobody knows who you are still. Like you have to like be like, yeah, you are really dope, but you're not popular like we are. But the guy still tours. Like it's to a degree where he has enough of the popularity.
I mean, dude,
He's performed at the Grammys. He's done damn near everything you guys, maybe outside of stadium tours.
he's
Can't
done
call him
stadium
broke.
like you can't call him broke. You can't say he doesn't have #1 albums. You can't say that he doesn't have classics. You can't say you can try to say he's the least popular, but what does that really mean? Because when the man showed up on a random ass Friday with a verse, not a song, with a verse, he did it again. The entire world is talking about Kendrick again.
Yeah, naming names.
But he just doesn't have a need to constantly be in our face. That's the difference. Like Drake has a need where he has to be present on his song or somebody else's song. Cole has disappeared before,
Yeah.
right? But Kendrick will disappear and hibernate. Like he'll disappear for 3 years. And you'll be like, damn, no guest verses, not a whole lot of nothing. And then when it comes out, you'll be like, oh, like there's a lot of people that didn't like Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, right?
Yep.
And you could take shots at that. But was it, I don't, the kids could call it whack from a place of ignorance, right? The people, what a do say was jazz drill music, fucking
Yeah.
having week. Because it is like, again, it's very similar to Prince in like the new power generation. That ain't hot. That ain't hot in these streets. That ain't what we dancing to in the club. Like, you can do that with Kendrick. You can take that shot. But then it's like, but artistically speaking,
Is he gonna flip that on you and just drop someone yet?
but
Because
it's like,
again, the shots you give are the ammo you're giving to shoot back.
yeah, because it's Kendrick's never been a victim of the whatever's popular in music.
No.
Like, he makes trends. He doesn't, he sets trends. He doesn't become a part of them. Drake makes trends that are already visible more popular, right? Like, that's what Drake does. He sees something that's popping in another country, and he's like, I could bring this to the States to make this work. And that's what he does. Cole is he's just been a man on a mission for the past 2 years, rapping his face off. But you can say, like, you can say didn't nobody like that shit, but they did. The man just rocked Mexico, and there's a bunch of Mexican people rapping Die Hard every fucking word, and you're like, God damn, like, this guy's hard to beat. Yep. You can't. It's like going at Prince. It's dead ass like going at Prince. What are you gonna say? You can't say Prince is whack.
You just say he's not for everyone, but that doesn't play well in a battle.
It don't, because then when it's all said and done, you go, God damn, he's the most respected artist in this genre. That's Prince. He's done it his way forever. He's been ahead of the curve forever. He was making music on the internet before it was even a fucking cool thing to do. Prince was always ahead of the curve. Kendrick's the same way. They got to find a way. They just have to respond. And this ain't, I saw people, you got 24 hours to respond. No, man.
No.
Right in immediacy.
Please take your time. You got one shot at this.
You can't blow it, because you have to know, like, if I drove by your house and shot one bullet through your window and you was like, I'm going to come back, best believe I got a whole chamber of bullets waiting for you. Whatever you say, you got to be prepared, because Kendrick's going to come at you. Like, he's ready. It's like Pusha. Pusha waited for Drake to say something.
Yeah.
Pusha was like, you got to hide in your child. I was like, fuck. You got to make sure all your skeletons are out the closet before they get to him. So it's good. It's good for hip hop. Already 2024 is better than 2023 in terms of music, because we're already having, like, memorable moments. Like, this is just random, but Sunday Service by Lotto, that was this year. And
wow,
she bodied that shit, right? And there is what Lotto did on that particular song was remind everybody, especially Ice Spice, that, bitches, I can rap, right? If y'all, we could talk about all these pop songs and shit, I can fucking rap. That's what Lotto can do. Like, she can rap. She can make all them garbage ass songs and but they're popular. But when it comes down to it, girls got bars. And she showed up with Sunday Service, and I listened to it again today, and I was like, fuck, man. One of these women gonna take the bait with her, and they're gonna regret it. That girl is different. Like, people talk about Meg, people talk about all these. No, Lotto's popular, but if Lotto wants to get at you, she gonna get at you.
Yeah.
I like where hip hop is, where somebody like Lotto or somebody like Kendrick's like, fuck y'all, I'm the best. Period.
But at the top, somebody got to respond on the top. Like,
yeah, you have to say something back.
Yeah, we got to bring, because that's what will make it cool again. Because even Drake, like, with the Push thing and Meek thing, it was a little bit swinging into a different weight class.
It went too far.
Both were very personal.
Yeah.
This more likely gets personal between Drake and Future before it ever gets personal between the big three.
Yeah. It's really hard with Future, because it's like, what are you really going to say? Like, Drake probably is going to eat your ass up.
No, Future probably knows some shit.
He may, but hopefully everybody can understand it. But
the people who need to understand it, who's that's for, understand every word.
That's true. Drake is a better rapper than Future. So Drake's has got,
maybe if you had to do a big four, it's probably Future.
Not in my big four. Yeah,
for the past 15 years, objectively.
I get it.
These are probably the big four rappers over the past 15 years about to beef. And that's why if I'm Drake, I'm throwing shots at Future before I ever go at Kendrick. Because I'll be like, fuck it. It's just a tag team match. We're not doing this as a triple threat. This is a tag team match. Cole, you handle him. Hot tag. I'm going after Future.
you go after Future and Metro Boomin because that's where this shit started.
Yeah.
Right. Like you and Metro had some shit, and then Future got involved, and it's like, whoa, wait a second. Right. So, and Drake and Future got a whole ass album together. Them diamonds is dancing. So you have to go after Future, but Drake he's just in this spot, man. Like when you're that big of a star and everybody knows it, and now every time somebody comes for your credibility, you got to respond. You
Yeah.
can't wait. But now for the first time, I mean, nah, not for the first time. Push had a ton of credibility. But like you are dealing with somebody who was from your era, basically. You, Cole, and Kendrick kind of came from the blog era.
It's a true peer.
Yeah. And that's like y'all are in the same realm and been around each other for a long time and done songs together, Poetic Justice, Four Train, fucking Problems. You're going on the list. These guys have done shit together. But I know Drake in the back of his head is like, this fucker's got the better of me on mostly everything I've done with him.
Mhm.
I got to show my ass. And Kendrick and Cole have done some great shit together too. Right?
They all have good music together.
They do. So it's really, it'll be a treat for the fans if this is handled right. But they gotta respond. You cannot let the one man, because like when he can't, what happened? The crazy thing is when Kendrick did Control, all the wrong people responded. It was a bunch of people was like, what the fuck are you responding for? He's coming at all of us. Not really. He's only coming for the top spot, and y'all are like number 34 on the list. He ain't worried about you.
I'm partial to Big Crit response to that.
Crit is fair.
That shit was incredible.
Crit
And
is
he did over his own beat. It was Mount Olympus is the name of the track. Shit was fucking phenomenal.
Crit is, I don't know what he's a victim of, man. Crit is always, I hated his first major label album because it was not as good as those goddamn mixtapes.
No, the mixtapes are incredible. But
that
that second album,
no, Crit is incredible. He don't get the credit he deserves. No. Like he has been overlooked, but man, Crit is also a victim of not having that one song that everybody remembers.
Yeah. No, that's fair. He just never, like country shit could have been that.
It wasn't. Like
it just didn't pop off. But he makes a very specific sound of music.
Yeah,
he's not deviating. Yeah, no. Like for better or worse, he's just like, this is what I do. But I feel like his following will continue to follow him down south.
Yeah, it's time for another album from Crit. There really
I need a project.
I need a Crit and Organized Noise album in a fucking hurry.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
I know Crit likes to produce his
shit. He produces his own shit, but
I need an Organized Noise and Crit album.
The feature he had on Toby's joint was really good 2 years ago, year and a half ago. He pops up every now and then, just bodies something.
He's really good.
Yeah, I mean, and it's one of those things. There's an appetite for that music. Like you look at Toby. Toby's just on the Timberlake album. He's like people are kind of open to that sound. Like for a long time, Crit, and every time he raps about it, he's like, "Well, if I didn't have this accent, I would have been a superstar," which maybe quite possible. Like a Mississippi accent is deep, but I loved his response. But yeah, I feel like that generation, Crit's lingering. Big Sean really needs this album to something.
It's funny, Big Sean, he's in no man's land.
A lot of them are like,
no. Big Sean's in no man's land worse than anybody from that collective. Like, so there's Crit, Wale, Sean, Drake, Kendrick, Cole.
What's his face just dropped. And I thought it was all right. Mac and Cheese 5, but it didn't hit anything.
That don't count. This group all came up in the blog era, like all next to each other.
You don't count French in that group?
Hell no, absolutely not. No.
He's a mixtape blog era dude who came up.
No, he's not. No, he's not. He was not respected.
So Mac and Cheese and all that wasn't it?
No, absolutely not.
Him with the big Avell?
No.
People didn't? Okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
Him and Max B didn't have a wave, is what you're telling me.
That's a whole different thing. They'd never considered French Montana a blog rapper. Never. He was never considered that. Max B was not considered a blog era rapper. The blog era rappers were Cole, Kendrick, Drake, Sean, Wale, Crit. I'm missing somebody, but those were the guys. I mean, even like Asher Roth, Path Div, all those guys too. But those guys were the group of MCs that the radio wouldn't play, and they made their own way in the blog era. French Montana is not part of that. That whole like Max B, that's a different. That's like Dipset shit. It's like it was gonna be popular, but my point was Big Sean's in this weird no man's land because he hasn't had anything close to a classic album. He's been able to rap, but he's all of his projects are easily forgettable. Wale has actually had some critically acclaimed albums that Big Sean hasn't had. Sean is just constantly getting overshadowed by somebody. He's constantly on the wrong end of the shit. And the only thing he does is go to the gym and get buffer. That's the only thing that Big Sean has been doing for the past few years.
I mean, listen, he just had a kid. He could have went the opposite direction. So big ups to him.
He could have, but I need whatever music Sean's going to do to mean something. There is not an album in Sean's catalog where I'm like, I need to play that. It doesn't exist. There's songs. There's just not an album.
I really like the Detroit mixtape, but you don't count that as an album. I
don't count it as an album. And a lot of the Detroit mixtape was like him and Royce, right? Like it was like him and Elzai. I need Big Sean to come out with something that's going to stick to my ribs. I need to know more about Big Sean. Like Sean hasn't really given me that. I know who Drake is. I know who Cole is. I know Cole let Nas down, right? I know Cole had crooked teeth and a crooked smile.
Oh, that shit was so good.
I know Cole. I know a lot about Cole. I know a lot about Kendrick. I know a lot about Drake. Drake has been really personal. I don't know a lot about Sean. Even in the songs where it feels like it's personal, it feels very surface level personal. I need Sean to get into the weeds on one of his albums. And I need him to body shit. And he has not done that. Wale did it with, I mean, look, the album about Nothing is still one of the best albums out of that bunch of MCs.
Yes.
Still. Sean doesn't have anything close to that.
No. And he has good albums, but no, he doesn't have.
He doesn't. Like
everyone else has. Crit has
albums that people like, that's a blog era classic. Or like, that's the one. Live from the Underground. That's the one forever. Like, he's got them joints. Sean would be like, what's the name of his albums again?
Yeah.
Sean needs the, like, him dropping and having Kendrick overshadow him was like, fuck again?
His Tiny Desk better help him out a lot.
I don't know if it will.
Something. He needs something. But then people are just making fun of, like, they're going to live band just ass. That was dying. Man, I hope God, it was a hit.
I like Sean, man, but it's like, man,
me too.
Something missing. It's been something missing. He's like a lesser version of Ludacris to me.
That's a fair comparison.
Like, I feel like Luda's had better albums, but Luda still doesn't have, like, I've said it all the time, Luda can rap. We all know Luda can rap. But it's like, he has had, like, that album. He's had good albums.
Ooh. Oh, no, that first album's really fucking good.
It's good, but it's like, what we know about Luda is he can rap.
Yeah.
We don't know anything else. We just know he can rap.
That's all we need.
We need more, but we need more. Every artist gives us more. And Sean and Luda feel like very apt comparison, their careers. So Sean better go start acting or something.
They'll say Luda's multifaceted, so it's kept him around longer than most.
Got that man paid.
Chilling. He's rapping for the fun of it.
Yeah, he ain't got to do this shit.
No, so Sean needs this one. We'll see how, I don't know, maybe he throws a track on there and be like, stop disrespecting me. Big 3, shit's a big 4. On my own Mount Rushmore, some shit. I don't know. Sean,
don't beg, just don't beg for attention.
Don't
come out here and like, please pay attention to me.
Jump into the beef. I'm tired of this shit. Kendrick.
If he jumps into the beef, all 3 of them are going to stomp him out.
Nah, Sean can rap when he wants to rap.
I know, but it's if like he shows up, they'd be like, man, get your ass out of here. Make a classic album with some of the shit that people care about before you jump into this beef.
People, listen, for a long time, people thought he was going to be the 4 in that big 4.
They did, and it never happened. That's why Sean had
start off real hot. The Kanye shit for a second was hot, and then whoop.
Yeah, all he's got, again, I don't need Sean to even pay attention to what those guys are doing. Just make me a great album. Make an album that people make your fucking Killer Mike out.
I don't know.
Killer Mike made Michael. Can you do it?
No.
Can you get that deep into your life?
He's not going to trick me again. On this show, I think it was like 2 years ago, I was like, this is it. because
Yeah.
he was like, my next album is entirely produced by Hit Boy.
Yeah.
And this was hit when he just started doing the Nas shit, and he did Benny. Like,
And he had a banger. He had Deep Reference with Nipsey, which was a fucking banger.
yeah. And I was like, this is the album.
No, it wasn't.
It was all right. Like, it was all right. It just kind of came and left. Damn, man. So I need to be surprised because I don't know if it's there.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm looking forward to the responses though. And I feel like our next episode next week before you're off to Mania is already decided. It wasn't our episode this week because I wanted to talk about the beef, and I feel like there's more wild shit to come. But I feel like
I know
everyone
it's
knows
yes, it's puffy.
it's
Next
time.
week, yes,
It's time.
We're gonna talk about. We will talk about it next week more in depth because obviously more things are gonna come out.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm going to leave with y'all is that I'm not defending Diddy in any way, shape, or fashion. My only question is, why did we never do this to Hugh Hefner?
It's a good question. It's a different time.
I know, but
if he was still here today,
that's the answer, right?
Maybe he would have caught.
I want to know, like, just think about that. Whatever Diddy was doing, I'm not saying it's right. It's wrong as fuck. If it's all true, right? There's a reason when Homeland Security is raiding your homes.
Bam. But I mean,
there's some shit.
Weinstein went down. We see a dude with Nickelodeon. Hef maybe would not have been far off.
Boy, I was just watching like all this the Playboy shit, and I was like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
Hef was in some shit. He died at just the right time. He was like, oh, they ain't coming for me.
I'm out. I had my time.
Yeah.
I'm out. Hands washed
with
my
this Silk Road with these hoes. I'm out of here. Gone.
Shout out to Big Crip. Bury me in gold, baby. I'm gone. Leave me alone. And he got up out of here. So, but yeah, we'll talk about Puff. I mean, talked about Puff on this show before. It is it's not even 6 degrees of separation for me. It's like 1. So it's I need to hear I need to see everything. Yeah. So we have some thoughts next week. Yeah. It'll be the take that episode of the Corner Podcast on Patreon. So thank you guys for listening. As always, tell a friend, tell a family member, tell everyone how we chop it up here on Patreon. Man, if that dish drops, please just send it to us, bombard us, tell people to listen to this, and we'll mix a little bit of that into the show next week as well. In the meantime, we appreciate you all. Corner Podcast, the next Corner Club episode, I don't want to forget this. I believe I'll record in like 2 weeks. When Dre comes back from Philly, we should be all right, even though it's Ryan Garcia week and everything. But after Mania, so look for it. Look for signups and everything the week after Mania, and we'll get rolling for that for the April episode. So that'll be really fun. We appreciate you all. Until next time,